I sat at this meeting once with a lady who was probably one of the most inspired people I've ever met. She was a ball of fire. She was so incredible. And she told me the story of how she changed her life, literally, completely transformed her life. She was secular and she shifted everything, her beliefs in college, and one by one, step by step, she became completely religious. And she was like exciting, fun, incredible, unbelievable. And she describes to me what an amazing change this was in her life. And then her face goes dark. And she gets into this mood and she says, I don't know what happened. I raised 10 kids, 10 amazing and beautiful kids. My 5th child turns 14 years old, and I don't know what happened. Suddenly this kid becomes a complete menace. Now, I believe I inspired my kids. I worked hard to really invest in their chinuch, and they're all amazing kids. And this one child, she doesn't want to listen to a thing I say. She's changed her whole way of life. She went back to what I was when I was secular, and with such a rage and a vengeance. And I don't know, what did I do wrong? So I said, listen, before we sit down and discuss how to handle this child, what to do with her, I want to give you a little bit of an insight. Because it's not about the child, it's really about our own personalities. We all have that child inside of us. We all have those times, those moments when we feel we're in a dark mode. Yeah, we have this beautiful, inspired self, which is in Judaism, davening and learning and doing all wonderful mitzvahs and chesed, etc. And then there comes this point where we discover this addictive, vengeful, dark, depressive being inside of us. And we wonder, where did that come from and why is it inside of us? And we want to give up. And it's so upsetting. Why do I have to deal with this? So it's interesting that in the Parsha, because we always take our cue and understanding from the Torah. So Avram Avinu, he was this individual who inspired the entire world. He was incredible. He changed the world. His son Yitzchak was very different to him. And when was that different noticeable? When he had his own son, and one of them was Esav. And Yitzchak not only didn't shun Esav, but he dealt with him. The whole Parsha of Toldos is all about what Yitzchak does with his son Esav. He works with him. Vayehav Yitzchak as Esav. He loved him. And at that point, as Rashi brings at the beginning of the Parsha, people, the Leitzanei Ador, the clowns, the jesters of the generation, were saying, Me'avimelech nis Abra Sarah. It cannot possibly be that Yitzchak is the son of Avram. It must be that this Yitzchak, who cares so much about Esav, is from Avimelech. He's not a Jewish. It's not a Jewish thing. Because to us, what's Judaism? It's the whole inspired element of bringing Jews closer, bringing myself closer, Shabbos, mitzvahs, chesed. It's beautiful. But there's a whole other side. There's the Esav side. There's when my child becomes an Esav but is not interested in anything I taught him. And then there's the Esav side to our own personalities, which is that part of the dark part of us we wished we didn't know. Ma'aseh HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what does God do? He sends a message, says Rashi, and he made the face of Avram and the face of Yitzchak identical to tell you that Yitzchak is the son of Avram. And Judaism is not about those beautiful times. It's also about those beautiful times, but Judaism is equally about the dark, deep inner side that we have to deal with. So when you have that darkness in your life, don't say, oh, it's terrible, this is not Jewish, why do I have to have this, why can't I just be normal? Realize that God made human beings because he wants humans to change humanity. He wants us to bring God into this world and to be able to shift our perspective, not as angels, but as humans. And it is specifically when we have that Esav in our nature and in our children, and we deal with it, that we become true heroes. Because that's when we can make a difference. If everybody's a wonderful, beautiful Avram, then there's no transformation, there's no shift. What we're needed to do is to deal with it. So I told this lady, I said, first and foremost, I want you to realize that your inspiration is contagious and you're unreal. And your inspiration should not stop, should continue and extend to this child of yours, because that's the goal. The work with this child, the inner child inside of us, and that outer child who's not interested in who you are, that's where it all lies. And God says the panim of Yitzchak and Avram are identical. So don't get upset. Why do I have this? Actually embrace it. Embrace that other side to who you are, because that's where the goal lies. And so the ultimate of the parsha is the beautiful brachas that emanate from specifically from Yaakov, who dresses up like Esav, is when we conquer this world, when the physical material world is transformed, it's through dealing with the Esav in our nature that we become true heroes.